Hey guys, what's going on? It's Beckon and Cal here, and welcome back to another Magic video. So, today I'm going to be running through with you deck tech for how to play Jund Sacrifice or Jund Food, or whatever you want to call it, in Standard. So, I would say that this is probably the best, if not, well, one of the best, if not the best decks in the meta right now. So, this is the exact deck, or near to the exact deck, with a few changes to the mana base, as Piotr Glogowski used to win the Mythic Championship 7 at the weekend. So I would say that Mythic Championship 7 is the biggest tournament to have taken place since Oko got banned. What I found with watching the event is the format seems a lot more open now. There's a lot more variations of decks with both Simic Ramp, Simic Flash, Jeskai Fires, and the Sacrifice archetype being very strong. But then when you compare that to what it used to be, it's much more open. This deck is probably the deck I like the look of the most, just because there's so many different ways you could play it, and so much like card draw engines to make sure that you get all of the spells you need. So to start off, you've got Cauldron Familiar. So Cauldron Familiar is a really nice card for a 1-drop. Comes in, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That's really good already, you'd think. And then when you compare that with Witch's Oven, it becomes much better because this just creates an engine. So you can keep every time you untap, you can sack the Cauldron Familiar, and then sack the food you get from it and ping them for 1. That's one of the ways you can kill them in a deck. Gilded Goose is really nice as well, just for creating food tokens. It's a nice, it's got flying, so it could be a nice blocker for the Hydroid Crasis or any other flying threats later on into the game to help you get the extra damage through the line. Also, for 2 mana, 1 and a green, you can tap it and create a food token. That's really good for the rest of the deck because it could just create more sack outlets for all of the other things. Also, you can tap a sacrifice food to add 1 mana of any colour. Now, that's a nice ability for if you're stuck on a colour, or you've got 4 mana and you need the 5th to play a Corvold or a Massacre Girl or something along the lines of that. But also, when you combine that with Trail of Crumbs, you can tap to sack one of the foods and then use that mana to pay the one for this ability to look at the top 2 decks. So that's quite a nice combo, I guess you could say, to help the deck get going. Talking about Trail of Crumbs is just a really nice card. It's one of the best cards in the deck. Turn 2, you should play this without a doubt. Just for searching through your deck to find what you need. The deck's mainly made up of permanents, with the only non-permanents being casualties of war. So the rest of the things you'll be able to find and put into your hand. Also, creating a food when it comes down is nice, as it can help other abilities such as Cold Familiar and once again create more sack outlets. Murderous Rider, this is really nice, with Swift End being a great control card for if they have a massive creature. And it's also nice in a mirror match when they've also got a Corvold out on the battlefield. You could use that to kill their Corvold and then go from there. Also, the loss of 2 life really isn't that relevant in this deck because of the abundance of food tokens from all of these different sources. And also, the 2/3 body when it comes down is really nice, as once again another source of lifelink. Thrashing Brontodon's good. That's mainly for the mirror, but it's also good against Jeskai Fires to kill their Fires of Invention. Then there's Mayhem Devil. Mayhem Devil's probably one of the star cards in this deck. Whenever anyone sacrifices, whenever a player, so that's any player, so it could be your opponent as well as you, sacrifices a permanent, it deals 1 damage to any target. Now, because of all of the sack triggers you'll have going on, this could be a really nice finisher to just deal with 20 points, because in no time, it'll take you no time to be able to get the 20 points of damage, especially when paired with, say, the Cauldron Familiar Witch's Oven combo. Every time you do the combo, the opponent will take 3 points of damage because of a sacking into Cauldron, sacking into food, and then the loss of 1 life when they sent to the battlefield. So that's also really nice. Massacre Girl, this is a really nice board wipe. So giving -1 when it enters, and then for all other creatures that die this turn, it gives it -1/-1. Very nice. Also, the Menace is quite nice afterwards, because after you've killed the like the rest of the board, swinging in, they might not be able to get the 2 blockers out quick enough to prevent the damage from that. Corvold is nice, only 2 in the main board, but there's 1 in the sideboard. So this is the best card in the deck. It's kind of the only reason you would kind of play Jund, as opposed to Rakdos or Golgari. I guess Mayhem Devil and the other better green cards helps, but I would say this is the main card. So, flying. When it enters, sacrifice another permanent. So straight off the bat, it's a 5/5 and you draw a card. Every time you sack another creature, it gets a +1/+1 and you draw another card. So this is a really nice card draw engine. And also flying, it's because it's got flying, it makes it so much better, because the amount of flying creatures in the format right now is quite limited. You've got the Hydroid Krasis, the Gilded Goose, as I just said. There are a few other decks running some gargoyles and things, but in general, there aren't much flyers. Then Casualties of War. This is a really nice removal spell for 6 mana. See, that's quite easy to get to with this deck, because it runs, as I'll show you here, it runs 25 lands, so it shouldn't be that hard to get to. Also, with a Beanstalk Giant ramping up, this is a very affordable removal spell. So, destroy target artifacts, very good in the mirror, so with Witch's Oven, destroy target, and also once they've sideboarded and added in Sorcerer Spyglass, this can be quite a nice removal spell. Destroy target creature, so that's pretty much good against any deck really. So the big Hydro Krasis, Corvolds in the mirror, and so Fires of Invention is good against as well, because of the abundance of just high mana cost creatures. Destroy target enchantment. Once again, that's good against the mirror with Trail of Crumbs. It's good against Jeskai Fires with their Fires of Invention. And then also if they play any other enchantments which can slow us down or prevent us from doing certain things. Destroy target land, that's nice. So if they've got, say, Castle Lockwains or any other castles, or just if they've only got 1 mana source of a type and you just want to shut off that colour, that could be nice as well. Destroy target Planeswalker. Now, this is probably the best Planeswalker in Standard right now. So that could be very good against that. Also, there's Teferi's Sarkans a lot, especially after War of a Spark when all of those Planeswalkers were introduced. Beanstalk Giant, this is just good ramp. And also, if you can get it down into the battlefield, it's just a massive, massive beast. So, going on to the mana base, you've got 4 Fabled Passages. This is nice because it's got the sack triggers, so it'll activate Corvold and it will activate your Mayhem Devil. Stomping Ground, Overground to Blood Crypt. So if you've got the cards, I would play 4 of each. But just because I'm kind of light on rare wild cards at the moment, I've just substituted in certain lands in the sideboard. I'm not sideboard. I've just substituted in certain basic lands for those shock lands. This deck with this mana base, it still works really well, as I'll show you in a minute. Also, Castle Lockwain, that's nice, especially with the life gain. Losing life equal to the number of cards in your hand when you activate it really doesn't matter that much, as I said earlier. And also, it's very affordable. You've got a lot of you'll nearly always have double black, and card draw is always nice. Because this deck could be quite fast, you could play all your stuff very quickly, at which point it's nice to get a lot of card draw going. So into the sideboard we go then. And the first thing, Duress. See, Duress is good against a lot of matchups. Control is really good. Any like kind of control type cards, type decks. So Azorius Control is good in, and against Simic Flash, which runs a lot of control. There's also kind of variants of Dimir Control and things, but they're not so prevalent, but it's good against that too. Return to Nature. So once again, it's good whenever they have artifacts, enchantments, that kind of thing. And also it could be good against Jeskai Fires. Which bring back cards from a graveyard. I wouldn't recommend it so much, but you could use it if you feel it's necessary. Lovestruck Beast. So this is quite nice against Simic decks, which run Nissa, because it's a very good blocker for the lands it creates. And also, Also, just if you want a lower curve on your game and to play much quicker spells, so say you're playing Azorius and you want to get lots of spells out sooner, just so you've got a board presence so it can't carry on countering all your spells. Thrashing Brontodon as the third one. That's once again if you're playing against a deck which is heavy on artifacts or enchantments. Lane Isle of the Void. So I play this against, so Simic Rampant's good against, where they've got the Cavalier, which puts the top 4 cards, I think, into your graveyard, and you can put a land onto the battlefield. So all of the cards which would go into your graveyard just go. It's also good against Jeskai Fires, which can put a lot of cards into the graveyard, especially for the Cavalier of Flame, and it just exiles the lands when they go in, so you've got no worry about that. Deathless Knight. So once again, it's just a nice attacker, 4/2 haste. When you gain life for the first time, it's turn, return it to your hand. So say they've got a lot of removal in the deck, and you just want to have recurring damage, this could be really nice. Massacre Girl, once again, so that's the third one in the deck. So if you're playing against a deck which has lots of creatures and they can play out the whole board and then have nothing left in hand, Massacre Girl could be a very nice play. Also, Korvold, obviously it's just a beast, and you can play this wherever you see fit. Normally against in the mirror you'd want to play more Korvold, and maybe against Jeskai Fires where they've got a lot of bigger creatures and you want to get more triggers. So that's been this section of the video. Before we go into the gameplay, may I just ask if you could subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 20 subscribers. May not seem much for you, but it's a massive amount for me. So please could you go down and subscribe? If you do, it'll make my day. If not, I don't really mind. But thanks for listening to me for now. Now let's get into the gameplay. So we're on the play this game, which is nice. It doesn't really matter with this deck whether we are or not, but it does help. This is a nice hand. We've got the Cauldron Familiar and Trail of Crumbs. So Trail of Crumbs is, as I said earlier, it's nice. It's just card draw. It also gets me to pick between 2. And then for later on into the game, we have the Massacre Girl and the Cavalier of War. The Massacre Girl, that's good. That would be good if they've got a big board state open. But for the first turn, got Cauldron Familiar. In terms of lands, I've got no dual lands or Fabled Passages, but I do have every colour. I will need another black source. Okay. So here I think it's key just to get the Trail of Crumbs out. Just because that's so key to the card draw for the deck. And then I'll play the Gilded Goose next turn. Obviously Gilded Goose and Trail of Crumbs is nice because I can tap the Gilded Goose and sack a land. And that will also trigger the ability with the mana I get off tapping the Gilded Goose. Okay, there's a Thrashing Brontodon. So is there any way for me to get rid of this Thrashing Brontodon? I don't think so. Not yet anyway. So I think it's just going to have to be a case of then I'll go to combat and I'll swing with the Cauldron Familiar. He'll probably let the damage free. Yeah, next to damage. And then I play the Witch's Oven. So it's sad not being able to activate the Trail of Crumbs, but then he will have to spend some of his mana this turn. Pass to attackers. Yeah. Pass to blockers. No blocks. So what he'll probably do after this is sack it, destroy my Trail of Crumbs. Or he might actually choose to destroy one of the Witch's Oven instead. I mean, the play here should be to destroy the Trail of Crumbs, yeah. So, let's sacrifice the Cauldron Familiar. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to be able to get one activation off before the before it goes through, just to try and sort out a land for next turn so I can play one of these two. You can get lands because it's permanent. Auto pay. I'll take a Trail of Crumbs actually, because if he's going to kill that, I might as well get the added utility of having an extra one. Okay. This is nice, so I can Fabled Passage and then have another Trail of Crumbs. He'll probably tap. I mean, I'll take that, because all that's given me is just an extra opportunity. From him doing early, it allows me to swing in for one with the Cauldron Familiar, and all these points of damage can add up in these games. Yeah, let's just sack. I'll get another black, so I get double black at the very least for the Massacre Girl. I'll use one of activation from the cat here. Yep. Auto pay. And that's a quit from him. See, because that's the other good thing with playing this deck, is because all of the activations take so long. If you're in a good position, then what they can just do is choose to they can just quit because it takes so long for you to get your stuff going. So what I'll probably do here in regards to sideboarding is I will add in 3 Lovestruck Beasts, just because if they're a green deck, they'll probably likely to have lots of attackers, and the 5 toughness is just really good because most creatures won't have greater than 5 power. So what I will also do is I will get rid of a Casualties of War. I'll get rid of a Beanstalk. I'll actually I'll drop 2 Casualties of War, just because what I'm going to want to do is play all of my early spells, because if this goes into the late game, it's kind of, I feel against green it's more of their favour. Depends whether I've got the Corvold or like more of a bigger board presence. So let's just wait for him to sideboard. What he's probably bringing in now, like Sorcerer Spyglass. Some decks play just to get rid of the Witch's Oven and maybe also the Gilded Goose, considering both of their abilities are activated. What else could he be playing? He could be adding in more Thrashing Bronze, although from what I've seen, he might have a playset in the deck already. I'm going to assume not, because it's a bit stupid for someone to play that. He might be playing the same deck as me. I didn't really take into account what lands he had last turn, so that's something to look out for this game. Obviously, he's on the play this turn unless he misclicks here, but we've got to assume that he won't and that he'll go first. Opponent's going first. Okay, so this is the benefit of having the Lovestruck Beast. It's just early board pressure. Also, I've got the Beanstalk Giant to search for my mountains so I can get to Corvold. Okay, I say early board pressure, but then the Goose is a pretty good answer. Oh, I get my Goose of my own. So it's like for like plays here. Next turn I'll play the Overgrown Tomb tap to the Lovestruck Beast, if nothing else. Okay. Tapped, and then use the ability. Heart's Desire. I just kind of call it for the adventure ability on the card, but everyone has their different ways of doing things. Okay, second Witch's Oven. So he is probably playing the same deck as me, or just a Jund variant. So I've got choices here. What I'll probably do is I'll just Swift End to kill the Gilded Goose. Let's cancel actually. I played the wrong land this turn to do that. So let's just roll out the Lovestruck Beast. Next turn I'll be able to play Korvold. Okay, so he didn't get a mountain, so that tells me that he's playing Golgari. Otherwise he probably would have searched for a red just so he has access to all his colours. Okay, he's got a red there. So auto pay this and then sacrifice another permanent. So as much as I like having lands, I like having this pressure from all of my creatures. So I'll swing in for with both of these. I'll keep. Actually, no. I'll swing in with both because then at the very least I'll get in for 5. That's very nice. What's he got coming up here? 6 mana. Maybe it's a Casualties of War. Okay, so he's getting rid of those 2 permanents. If it is a Casualties of War, I'm pretty sure I've got the upper hand. Mainly because next turn I can kill his Gilded Goose and then swing in for 6. Yeah, it's very easy to read that one. Destroy that. Just so we can't get the tap ability to make a token next time. He'll probably sack it over Witch's Oven now. Get food, and then I'll swing in for 2 creatures. Next turn I'll play the Murderous Rider. So if I play the Murderous Rider now, it forces him to sack in response, otherwise I could deal 1 point of damage in response to his sack triggers. Okay, and he quits the game. There you go, so that's a very easy game to win. So this was a mirror match. So in the mirror match, you kind of, in sideboard, just focus on getting in Lovestruck Beasts. There are a few other slight changes which you could possibly make if you feel it's different. If the first game goes slightly differently and they play it in a slightly weird way, you could always adapt your sideboarding, so add in the Massacre Girl if, say, they seem to be getting a lot of creatures, or keep Casualties if they seem to always have Witch's Oven, Trail of Crumbs, a land, and a good land, sorry, and maybe a Korvold. But yeah, that is the deck tech complete. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please could you go down and subscribe. It means so much to me at the moment. I'm on my road to 20 subscribers, so you could be one of the first ones there. So just go down, click that subscribe button, and it would make my day. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.